Okay, I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. Okay. What the fuck? Sure. Okay, there we go. One sec, guys. One sec. Hold on. Everyone chill. Everyone chill. Let me send this into the chats real quick. Okay. Okay. What? Holy. All right. I just want to, yeah, okay. Wow. Like, I didn't expect that, honestly. You guys can hear me, right? Loud and clear. What a dude. Okay. Everyone can hear me. Okay. Straight up, I did not expect that. That's crazy. I was talking to my cousin on the phone, and he's like, damn, why is Bitcoin dropping so much? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's at 83. And he's like, no, it's not. And then I look, and I'm like, holy, what a candle. Now, what happened is, I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page here. What happened is we had a range break, right? So the BART formation, the reason why I sent it in the chat, and honestly, wow, like what a trade. But when I sent it in the chat, just an educational standpoint here, is when you have a BART like this, when you have a massive BART like this, a lot of times the BART doesn't complete. So a lot of people think that, okay, cool, it's on a support level, it'll end here. No. The reason why I don't send candlesticks for trades, and the reason why we go off wicks, is this exact reason why. If we were trading candlesticks, you can notice that on Bitcoin, right around this range here at 83, we can assume that this candle, so again, I'll zoom in, this candle, we can say, oh yeah, cool, Bitcoin bounced on this level at 83, I'm going to go for a long position, right? So a lot of times what people do is that they'll end up longing on the candlestick, but what you have to pay attention to are the wicks. So the wicks were telling us the bottom of the move set here, right? The bottom of the move set was this wick right here at 80,562. Now, this is where I'm concerned, and I'm talking about this solely from a daily perspective. If we look here on the daily candle, you'll notice that we've already tested this range. I'm going to go ahead and remove my drawings here so everyone is on the same page, but you can see that we already tested this range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and that's when I sent it in the chat, and I'm like, look, when a level is tested that many times, it doesn't make sense for the market to just bounce from here, right? Like, just a long term, it doesn't work like that. Just think of it like, why would the market bounce on the same range 9 times? It doesn't, that's not how it works. Instead, the market actually ends up losing that support level. Now, this is very, very important. If you guys remember, the biggest trade we ever had in Telegram was at 73,000. That was the biggest trade we've ever had, right? When the Trump won the election, we saw the massive squeeze. People made so much money. The issue is, if you notice, that candle was the previous all-time high. And now the problem that I see is if we end up losing that 73K mark, that is officially the start of a bear market. And yes, things are like, this is where I'm concerned, because if you look at the 4-hour time frame, you'll notice that this range has played out before. Now, second test, this was the opportunity for the bulls to end up seeing a new high. And now on the third test, it's capitulation. This is what capitulation looks like. We are seeing capitulation. And that not only are we seeing that on a daily perspective, we're seeing that on altcoin perspective too. Ethereum just hit 2,700. I promise you, if I go look at Doge right now, it also wicked near the daily support levels. And guess what? Solana just hit 112 perfectly. Do you guys see what I'm trying to explain here? And again, just bear with me for a second. When you have every altcoin sitting in the middle of nowhere, what does that mean? A middle of nowhere? This is a middle of nowhere. The market doesn't just whoop-de-doo, we're going to bounce here and see a new moon. That's not how it works. Instead, a lot of times what happens is the market will end up hitting that daily level and either bouncing or capitulation from that daily level. And that's what I'm scared about, genuinely scared about, is because if you look at Solana, guys, zoomed out, guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't look like, to me, if we look at it from a daily perspective, guys, there is a nasty BART. There is a disgusting BART. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, look at this BART formation from initially when Solana broke $26. We are just, and I'll go ahead and remove the line so you can see better. We are just in a huge BART formation on Solana. And I pray that, of course, we don't end up seeing that capitulation. But if we end up losing 93, which again, 93 relative to Bitcoin is at 73,000. It is the beginning of the bear market. And that is what I'm concerned about, because right now, every single altcoin, Bitcoin, everything is just chilling at the daily supports. What happened right now wasn't luck. It was just simple price action. I said 83,000 is going to be a major support. If we end up losing 83 though, we will see capitulation, and it literally wicked all the way down into the BART formation completion. Now, would I start looking for shorts again? Probably not, right? To me personally, if the BART formation has now completed, I would probably look for some sort of relief rally here, but that doesn't mean the relief is going to be a new all-time high or next leg opportunity or anything like that. No. What's going to more than likely happen is we're going to see a relief, we're going to see a bounce, and then what we're going to see is another capitulation down. Because if this was the first or second test, even the third test, I'd be like, yo, this is great. You know what I mean? I'd be like, yo, let's go ahead and do it. So I'd be like, whatever. But now the problem is that when you start testing a market second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7 times, I can't justify and say, hey guys, this is a great time to enter a long position. I'm not going to be that person. Because again, if you have a first or second test, you can say, yeah, this is oversold, this is double bottom. But when you have a 7th, 8th, 9th test, it tells you a lot about what the market position is. And right now, personally speaking, I just don't see why this would bounce. I just really don't see the reason why this would actually see that bounce opportunity and then probably see another nuke towards the downside. So that's my concern right now, and that's where I think a lot of people stand as well, is that if we end up losing that 73K region, guys, that will officially be the beginning of the bear market, at least for my books. Now, I'm not going to say there's any sort of good news here, because on the daily, it looks terrible. It really, really does. On the 4 hours, we really needed to hold 83 and at least see a bounce. Sitting at 81 in one 4-hour candlestick, and then, of course, if we end up losing 81, there's not much stopping it after this wick. If 81 is lost, it'd be 80.5. If 80.5 is lost, we have the liquidation wicks right here, all the way down into 76. So that's why I'm very, very concerned for you guys that, like, realistically, in just the price action of the market, I would personally just be looking at it from a 4-hour structure. I wouldn't, zoom out too much, just because, again, there is capitulation coming. But from a 4-hour perspective, you can enter trades and, of course, just play the wicks. And that's the beauty of the 4-hour time frame. I tell you guys this all the time. Today, we ended up losing the wick low at 86K. Just from an education standpoint, everyone follow along. So at 86K, how did I know we were going to see a nuke? Well, it was very simple. 86 was the beginning of this moveset right here, right? We had a little fake out, market bounced, but why did the market drop right here? This is what you have to look for when you're trading on the 4-hour time frame. If we were confirmed a local bottom, if we were to confirm some sort of bounce opportunity, what we needed to see was, of course, a bounce off the EMA and this wick high break. Remember when I said, guys, we're looking for longs above 91.3? That would be the long position. But instead, the market rejected. So when we rejected this morning, I'm like, damn, this looks like it's going to break support. Why? If you look at previous price analysis, why is the market ranging here? This is what we consider a range break. Yes, it's choppy, it's sideways, whatever, but when the market decides which way it wants to break, that's where you see capitulation. We ended up losing the wick low. What happens next? We have a huge gap that hasn't been tested. A huge gap, right? From 86 to 83, there was no support. That's why I have these lines drawn for you guys for reference, that you can assume on the 4-hour time frame, if this gap fills, then yes, you're looking at an $83,000 Bitcoin. Now, what I didn't expect, and again, this goes both ways, when I just sent that message like 30 minutes ago and I said, look, if we end up losing 83K, guys, we are going to see capitulation. I didn't think that we would break it literally 30 minutes after. Right? We can see that the candlestick started to bounce. What I was expecting was best case scenario. We hit the EMAs and then we reject. But this is where even after 10 years for me, the market can surprise you, right? Even after 10 years, the market can say, oh yeah, no, this support, yeah, screw this support. We're going to continue pushing lower. And that's why I always tell people the market can definitely go lower. Keep your emotions aside. Things can definitely get a lot worse. And that's where you have to be very, very careful. So right now, looking at it from just a structure break, I'm not shorting, right? We've already shorted the market at 83. We already played that side of the wicks, and I'll go ahead and Solana in a second. But now looking at it from this perspective, worst case scenario, we're looking at 80,400. Okay, that's worst case scenario because again, we are now heading into extreme oversold conditions. If we look at the daily, we are now in extreme oversold conditions. At 80K, we would be oversold. So what would I do at that point? Well, very simple. Most likely what we see is either we see a news event and we see capitulation tomorrow, or we see some sort of smaller relief and then the major capitulation. Regardless of the fact that this BART formation has completed, if we're looking for any bullish news, any bullish anything, it's going to be at 91.3. I don't think that's going to happen from here, personally speaking. Again, if it does, great, awesome. This would consider it as somewhat a local bottom. But the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because this is now the 9th time on a daily level we're testing it. Why would the market do that 9 times? It just doesn't make sense. It realistically just does not happen. And I know it's not something you want to hear, right? I'm not going to sit here and give you the snowflake, oh my God, guys, Bitcoin to 150,000, Ethereum to 10,000, like all these Twitter gurus and YouTube gurus do. No, I'm going to sit here and tell you like, yo, realistically, be prepared for the worst case scenario, because now the fact that the market is back here, and again, we've already tested this range, all that matters, to make it very simple for you, we cannot lose 73K. Everyone go ahead and put it down. $73,713 is the level we cannot lose. If we end up losing that level, to me, I am shorting, max shorting. This is my short, riding into the sunset. I'm out of the market completely. I would sell everything at that point and just leave. Because to me, that's a structure break of the all-time high break. And if you look at previous cycles, and the reason why I'm saying this is, I'll go ahead and show you. If we look at the previous cycles, I'm going to go ahead and go on, you know what, I'll go on the weekly just because I'm not trying to scroll around all day long. One sec, guys. Okay, so look at the previous cycles on Bitcoin. So if we go here, cool. Actually, you know what, I lied, I'm going to go to the daily. So do you see what I'm saying? Last time we ended up seeing a structure break on Bitcoin. So you can see right here, we ended up breaking down, retested that same level as resistance. The structure break was the COVID candle. We saw a capitulation right here. This was multiple days, of course, of breakdown structure. Same thing when we saw for the previous bull run, same structure break. What happened here? Do you guys see this? Everyone following along? Look at the structure break that happened on Bitcoin. So again, we had the top of 69K, cool. Do you see this last candle? So the same level of resistance as the previous high, ended up bouncing on support. What happened once we broke that level structure? It was capitulation. You see this whole thing right here? I'll go ahead and remove it. Do you see this whole thing right here? So again, resistance acting as support. Previous wick high was all-time high. Comes down, retests as support, the capitulation, and the bear market begins. Then, of course, we had sideways action. Once we retested the previous low, we considered it a bull market. That is going to be the candle at 73,717. Look, go ahead. Like, I'll draw it out. Well, I already drew it out, but you can see. Again, look at how many times this level was tested. If we end up breaking that level, then yes, that is, to me, the start of the bear. So I like, realistically, guys, that's my only concern. Like, straight up, we cannot lose 73,713. If, of course, the market does somehow bounce on that level, awesome. And I genuinely mean that, because the 73K has not yet been tested. So there is hope from the bullish case scenario. We have not tested that level as support. You can see on the previous range break, so when we had the Trump candle, you can see we had 1-2 tests, but we didn't come back down to test that level. After that, we pretty much just had that Bitcoin run up. But since then, we got close to that level. We got to 74, but we didn't quite test 73.7. So that would be considered a possible double bottom formation if we test 73.7 and it holds. That would be the worst case scenario for us in terms of bullish news, that we might be able to see a new all-time high. But if the market ends up breaking that level and then retesting as resistance, then no, that to me, it's invalidated. That's a bear market. It's over. So go ahead and write it down. 73,713. And again, for those of you that are joining in, I will, of course, keep you posted on Telegram. My Telegram is completely free. I'm not here to sell you a course. I'm not a guru. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, guys, pay me X amount of money and I'll tell you what's going to happen. Again, I do it all day long. Absolutely free. And those are some very profitable trades. Even from Solana's side of things, like the 112 level, what a trade. I saved a lot of people a lot of money because everyone wanted to long Solana here at 126. They were saying, hey, this is a good time for me to long. What do you think? And I said the same thing. I'm like, look, if we end up losing that break, it's going to get absolutely ugly. We ended up breaking right here in terms of Solana at 117. Market rejected. So this is a perfect example of what I just taught you guys. Support, right? Everyone following? 118.61 comes back down, breaks support, wait, retest that level as resistance, breaks the wick low, traps all of these traders in longs, capitulation, late shorts enter at 112, which is support, end up getting liquidated as well. It liquidates both sides of things, but the reason why my lines are so accurate is because, again, I've been in this for 10 years. I know where the lines are going to hit. I know where the wicks are going to hit. Does that make sense? So that's the level I'm pretty much looking for. So that's where you want to be cautious. 112 is now a daily support level. But if we end up losing on Bitcoin, then the next support level for Solana, very simple, is where the next wicks happen. And that would be at $100. If we end up losing that level, the next wick, of course, would be at $79. It gets pretty ugly. It really does. And for those of you saying that, oh, it'll never happen, it's never going to happen like that. Well, this is a perfect example of what happened on the 2022 of January, right? Or, yeah, 2022 of January. Same thing. We're trading at 140. We saw a wick all the way down into 75, and then we bounced. Trading should just not be emotions. You can't say, oh, it can't happen. It will happen, right? And that's the reality. Trading is an ego thing. You can't say, oh, they're never going to stop me out. They're never going to hunt me. You can't say that, because realistically, when it happens, you need to have a plan. What if it happens? What if it happens? And that's why I tell people, like, I only trade the 4-hour interval, because to me, I have a life. I'm allowed to trade 4 hours because candlestick opens 4 hours, nothing's happening. You don't hear from me. 4 hours later, nothing happening. You don't hear from me. 4 hours later, if something happens, hey guys, this is a 4-hour interval trade. This is the setup. If we end up breaking, cool. And there's days like today where things just continue breaking, and there's a lot of money to be made from shorting perspectives, right? We make so much money from shorts too. We make so much money from longs too. So yeah, it's just very, very simple. My 1.8K long just got liquidated. Okay, yeah, guys, straight up, a rule of thumb for all of you in here right now should be, if it's below the EMAs on the daily, you are not long. You are not long. I haven't longed. There's no reason for you guys to long. Solana mostly, Dogecoin mostly, like there's no reason to long these altcoins as of right now if we have a structured break. Mostly on the EMAs. Like Solana for sure was not a long. I never said go long on Solana, right? I haven't even updated Solana for a long time, because to me, I just didn't see the failure pattern happening. For Bitcoin, absolutely disgusting for 81.3 to play out. Absolutely disgusting, but at this point, guys, just straight up, I'm not trying to cause fear, panic, and everything, because realistically, everyone's down money right now, right? It's the reality of things. But all I'm here to explain to you is, for someone that's done 2 cycles now on the 3rd cycle, if we end up losing the structure break of 73.7, like straight up, if we end up rejecting that and using it as resistance, it is time to exit crypto, right? That would be your time to exit crypto. Right now, the only hope we have necessarily is that we look for a double bottom on 73.7. And the only reason I'm saying that is because we've only tested it once since Trump took office. Once we broke 73.7, we had the Bitcoin bull run. Everything was great. Everything was awesome. Cool. But now, if we end up losing 73.7, that is, again, all-time high can't, like, you can't break an all-time high and then use it as resistance. That's all it really comes down to. If it bounces as support, cool. It's a double bottom. But if it becomes resistance, that should tell you that it's over. It really is, because that's not how cycles work. You don't just go down, retest as resistance, do a little fake out, and go back up. That's not, because again, it's a big range. There's a lot of traders in that range that will end up getting absolutely nuked. But those are my thoughts, right? So right now, is it time for doom and gloom? No, we still have some time before 73.7 plays out. We're pretty much only looking for shorting opportunities as of right now. Would I be looking for a short here? No, because again, same thing. The BART formation has completed. Now is not the time to short. If you missed a short, you missed a short. Now is actually time to just sit on your hands. Notice how I'm not saying long positions, because I'm not going to be the one catching a falling knife. Instead, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to bed after this. I lied. I'm going to go play Fortnite, but I'm going to pretend like I'm going to bed. After this, I'm just going to look for the EMA retest tomorrow morning. Oh, cool. We rejected and we're coming back down. Where do you guys think my next short position is going to be? Right here. 81.3, guys. We're looking for a short position. If it breaks, cool. We ride the wave towards the downside. If, of course, the market ends up rejecting like this and then we start seeing some of this, I'm not going to trade. Where would I long? Again, I'm not going to long all of a sudden magically here. There's no reason to. My long position would be right here at the previous wick high. Yes, it's boring. We have to wait a while, but guess what? That's going to be a structure break, something like this. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and leave this on the chart so everyone can see next time. If, of course, we do see something like that, you'll understand what I'm saying. So this is where I'm going to leave this line drawn. This might be a scenario, But again, this is not just a random googly line. It's all simply put, this is where you consider a break. Do we miss this whole move set on the next break upwards? Yes, of course. But are we looking to guess? No, right? We're looking for the most risk to reward we can get in terms of not being losers, and that's where it is. The trade break would be at 91.3. That's where the wick is. That's where we end up trading, because all these people here that shorted, they're going to end up getting stopped out and liquidated here. Where would take profit be? Well, simply put, it'd be where the short started piling in, which would be 93.4. From 91.3 to 93.4, it is a massive gain on leverage. And again, guys, it is in the bio. Link is in the bio for leverage trading. But it's one of those things where, again, you can play both sides of the market, long and short, and make a lot of money. Otherwise, don't bother me. I'm being so straight. Like, just, chill, sit on your hands, and wait. This is not a market to be guessing. I feel like a lot of times what happens is if I don't send a trade, people start guessing and they end up liquidating themselves. Just wait for me. Just chill. I'm telling you, I promise you, there are going to be setups in this market. But right now is not a time to be guessing, because what's happening in crypto is not normal. I'm straight up being honest. This is not normal price action, right? And everyone knows that. Whatever happened on October 10th, obviously something occurred here, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's just a dip in the market, we're going to bounce here. No, I'm not going to be that person. This is simply not normal, because the nukes that are happening as of right now, we were trading at 87 this morning, guys. All of a sudden now we're trading 81. That's a big deal. Mostly when we're already down so much. That is a big deal. So my suggestion to you is just chill. Let me handle the charts. I literally kid you guys not. I wake up at 7:30 in the morning and I'm sitting on my phone looking at charts. Before I go to bed, I'm sitting at charts. Throughout the day, I'm driving, I'm looking at charts. I'm doing all of the legwork for you guys. There's absolutely no reason why you even need to look at a chart. Obviously, if you're looking at a meme coin, whatever, cool, great. But if I'm sitting there doing all the analysis for you and I'm saying, hey guys, this is where the level is. Once the level hits, take a trade and you're good. That's all you have to do. Just wait for my message. Straight up. You want to learn and do it on your own? That's awesome. And more power to you. That's the best way to learn. But that doesn't mean you start opening 50x leverage positions and saying, okay, hey, Pingu, like I longed at 89 and it's at 82. What should I do? What do you want me to say? I just don't know what to tell you. So that's my concern is like, guys, just chill. I promise you there's going to be setups. We will do it together. Everyone else just relax. Okay. All right. And yes, Dogecoin, I've already updated. I'll make a video. Okay. I'll make a video about Dogecoin so people can just, relax. But yeah. Okay. Everyone good? Everyone understand? Everyone good? Okay. I'm just reading the comments, but any comments on Pengu? My comments on the altcoin market is the same thing. Bitcoin needs to decide where it wants to go for any of these altcoins to move. It's just simple math, guys. If Bitcoin's dropping, everything's going to drop with it. It's just magically not going to something's going to go up. Unless it's, of course, the meme coin, but that's not what we're looking for, right? So realistically, that's really it. So just keep it simple, chill, let the market come to you. In terms of altcoins, there's no reason to capitulate because, again, we need to see confirmations. There's days, and again, you guys have seen this, like, I'm down like 100 grand some days, 200, 300, whatever, but like, I just don't care. Like, that's where you have to be mentally is, at the end of the day, if you have a plan and you know where the market, would possibly go, your plan is your plan. Selling Doge for 12 cents to rebuy at 10 cents is not a plan. That's literally just gambling. If you're buying spot, you're sitting, you're riding the waves. That's how you win. You just hold long term. And that's what long term is for spot positions. But guess what? You want to play the market for shorts. You want to play the market for longs. That's where leverage comes in. Wait for my trade setups. Just follow along. Again, they're free. I'm not just. Imagine you guys were paying me $50 a month, right? Like I'm telling you, like straight up, like it's free. I'm doing everything for you guys. Like at the end of the day, I'm just making sure like. If this is my last cycle. So if this is one point where I can leave and say, hey, for 2.5 years, I spent thousands of hours a day making these trades videos, but people benefited and made some money and paid their bills and bought a house and more, I will live a very happy life because guess what? I'm already like, I don't need to do this, but I do this because I'm like, yo, there's someone out there that's struggling that just wants to make a little bit extra money. And I can be that person and be like, hey, this is how you trade on a 4-hour interval. This is how you look for exponential moving averages. This is the setup because in 5 years, I might not be around. But guess what? That person might move on with their life, look at stocks, and then start analyzing them and be like, wait, I remember this teaching. I remember that. So that's it. That's really simple. Okay? I will update ETH and I'll update Dogecoin and Telegram. I promise you. A lot going on right now. A lot of capitulation right now. There's going to be a lot of noise. Bear with me. I will update the charts. I promise you. Just chill. Everyone just chill. Let me do it. And then you guys go from there. Okay? But yeah. Sorry. coughing. I've been sick. I've been dying, honestly. And usually I really shit. I'm being so real. I'm so bad at trading when I'm sick. But I've been chilling. Like we've actually been chilling. So okay, I'm gonna go now. It's 9:10 p.m. at least over here, and I got a lot of stuff to do because my whole feed is blowing up with people asking me what's going on. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, just throw a like, guys. I'm being so honest, like that's all I want. Just throw me a like on these videos. Just comment on these videos. If I make a YouTube video, just comment and like it. That's the only form of payment I ever need from you guys because it just grows the channel. I'm not looking for donations. I'm not looking for anything. You throwing a simple like goes a long way. So it takes 30 seconds out of your day, and it motivates me to continue doing whatever I do here. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for listening. And, again, 73.7. I will update Telegram so everyone is on the same page. I know it's pretty late for some people, so I appreciate all of you guys tuning in today. And I will see you tonight. Probably in like 2 hours, I'll update everything and go to bed. Bye-bye.